now on the first lecture. We're now in the first feedback lecture, the one for lecture 1 in technical writing. And the first slide states the basic principle behind all the principles of technical writing, which is this: put yourself in the user's place. This is the most important principle, which is mentioned also in the first lecture, of course. The more you're able to imagine what the user is doing and thinking while reading your documentation, the more effective the documentation will be. This is no less true of technical writing than it is of any other kind of writing, whether it's Marcom or business writing or even novel writing or a short story. You have to put yourself in the user's place and try to understand how the reader is reading what you've written, what they're thinking when you read a sentence, what the expectations are for the next sentence. When they finish a paragraph, what have they learned and what they still want to know. The idea is to get used to imagining what readers are thinking and feeling and noticing while they're reading your writing. And that's really the key. If you think of that, you'll be a much better writer, actually. Okay, now let's look at the next slide. Okay, this slide actually is an exercise that tries to teach you the main principle of breaking things up using titles. The exercise 5 in lecture 1 was about organizing a piece of writing to make it, first of all, to make the information more easily retrievable, and secondly, to make it more comprehensible. The idea was not to rewrite what was written there. The idea was to organize it in such a way that you have clear markers, what we call titles, that clearly indicate what the piece is talking about and give you a way of quickly getting to the right information. Okay, so let's see this in more detail. Here is the first part. Okay, the thing about the debt information, the debt elimination schedule and loan consolidation, methods of eliminating debt, and there were a lot of text after that, which we had to somehow organize in a way that makes it more comprehensible and also easier to find the information. Now, many people make a mistake of outlining the text. No, that's not the right way. People, when they get a piece of literature giving them a better understanding of something, they don't expect to see an outline. An outline is not so simple. An outline is for maybe somebody who's advanced, who is an insider, who understands the program, maybe a developer of the program, who would like to see an outline of everything so they would understand better what needs to be repaired in the program or developed further, etc. But somebody who's just a naive user, a guy who doesn't understand computers and maybe doesn't understand much about debt elimination either, to read an outline is really not very nice to do that to somebody. You're basically saying, this is all I'm going to give you. It's just the highlights. And if you don't get it, well, too bad, haha, okay? That's not the way we do things in technical writing, okay? So what would be a good title for this entire piece? All right, let's look. These are the choices. Let's just say you clicked debt elimination. All right. I'm not saying that's right or wrong one, but let's see if that's a good one. Okay, we'll go to the next. Okay. Well, methods for reading yourself of debt was the best thing. Okay. Let's see why. Okay. In a minute, this little man is supposed to be talking. Maybe it was on the last slide that he was going to talk. Let's see. Yeah. Let's try again. If we got the wrong answer. Oh, I see where I made a mistake. I was supposed to submit an answer, obviously. Okay, now when I say submit, now you hear something.
The best answer for this question is really the answer methods for ridding yourself of debt. That's the best title. Why? Because you have to first consider your audience and what your audience expects to learn from the piece. You then have to figure out which title will most connect up with what the audience has in mind and how the audience will connect to understand what you're talking about. Remember, with this particular piece, if you look it over a few times, you'll see that it's relating to something very personal, eliminating the person's debt. This is not a highly technical piece. It's not something that's going to a programmer or something of that sort. We're talking now about a user document. And by the way, this is often some of the main writing that you'll be doing is for users. Okay, there are various types of writing in the course. We'll look at writing for programmers and writing for technicians. But right now, we're starting out with writing for the end user. Okay, in this case, it's somebody sitting at home using a program to eliminate debt. And you have to then make sure that the title will hook up to something in that person's mind, will speak to the person. And that will, of course, enable them to concentrate more fully on the writing and to understand it better. Aside from the fact that, of course, it also helps you find information. Okay, so let's look at these titles. Loan consolidation schedule, that's too specific. That might be a good subtitle, but there's more to this piece than loan consolidation. There's also the debt elimination schedule and others. We're looking for the major title for the piece. Oh, how about debt elimination methods? That's not too bad. It's a bit cold. It doesn't speak to the reader. That might be good for a more technical piece, but as you can see, this piece is not so technical, as we said. So let's look at the next one, debt elimination. Again, that's even shorter and probably a little even colder in a way, and a little more ambiguous. Debt elimination, how and through what? Through applying for some government loan, or what is this? Two methods, as we said, is not good. Methods for ridding yourself of debt. This is the best one, and the reason why is because you've got both the factual parts of that, methods of debt elimination, but you've also got the more personal dimension here of ridding yourself of, and in fact it reflects the topic sentence there too, so that you properly reflect what the reader has in mind. Okay? He's sitting down to read about, presumably about ridding himself of debt. That's why he's reading the piece in the first place, and therefore you reflect that in your title. Titles that are long and what I call expressive are better. Okay? The longer they are, I'm not saying to make a terribly long title, but the longer they are, the better chance the reader has of understanding it, of relating to it in some way, relating it to his previous knowledge and experience, and the better the reader has, the chance he has of responding to your